and welcome to the program. Can you believe it's been 60 years since the Beatles first made their American television debut on the Ed Sullivan Show? That appearance inspired one Western New Yorker on a unique musical journey. Video journalist Ron Shawnee introduces us to Gary Astridge.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles!
73 million watched history being made that Sunday night, and one of those was a 7-year-old boy from Buffalo who didn't know it then, but his life was about to change forever. His name, Gary Astridge.
Prior to them coming on the Ed Sullivan Show, I was totally unaware of the Beatles. And as soon as I focused on the television, I got drawn in, and for whatever reason, Ringo ended up being my guy. The following day, I couldn't stop tapping on things, and my father took some Chase and Sanborn coffee cans, cut the bottoms out, had the plastic tops, and he took a pair of wooden spatulas that my mom had, and he cut the spoon ends off, and those became my drumsticks.
Gary was hooked on the Fab Four. Constantly
listening to the albums, bugging my parents to buy other ones, or looking at the magazine rack for anything with Beatles. And my parents were kind enough that if they had the Courier Express or Buffalo News, if they saw an article about the Beatles, they'd cut it out and give it to me, and that was gold.
Then, at age 11, Gary's dad bought him his first drum kit.
Yeah, a set of Kents. Yeah, my father took me there. I asked for a oyster black pearl. They didn't have it, but they had black diamond pearl. So that's what I went with.
It would be years later that Gary would buy the kit that would start his magical mystery tour.
And at one point I just thought, you know what, how come I don't have a Ringo kit? And so I did research all pre-internet. As I'm doing it, I'm realizing, wow, Ringo had more than one drum kit. Like 63 models, 64 models. You could see the slight little differences in how they were manufactured or design changes that were made. So over time, I amassed a complete collection, equal to what he had when he was with the Beatles.
And then in 2006, the phone call that would begin a lifelong friendship with his idol.
I started the website in 2006 called ringosbeatlekits.com. End of 2012, I get a call from the Grammy Museum. We wanted to see if you'd be willing to help us. Here's the deal. And we just signed an agreement with Ringo and his wife Barbara to do an exhibit on his life called Ringo, Peace and Love. And we specifically asked if Ringo would donate 2 of his Beatle kits to represent the start of his Beatles career and the end of his Beatles career. We called his people in London, requesting these items, and they said, well, we have drums, but nothing's organized. We don't know what drum goes with what drum. We don't know what to send you. So they frantically started doing research online, and they just kept finding my website. So they contacted me, saying, hey, can you help? But a lot of it was either lost or stolen. So thank God I have my collection, because that's where that comes in. When I realized what Ringo didn't have, and knowing that those first 2 drum kits were going to be on display, I said, this is Ringo, it's the Beatles. You can't take drum kits that have no cymbal stands, no cymbals, no front bass drum head, nothing, and they're dirty, and just putting them in a case saying, here's what's left. I said, I have everything that's needed. I can bring all 5 of these drum kits back to life. And so I was told, well, let's just focus on these 2. So I did it. There was a lot of pressure, but Ringo was happy. And then from that it was, hey, can you document the rest, and can you do all 5? And so I'm so proud, always saying I'm a guy from Buffalo, New York, and I was able to bring back those 5 drum kits back to life, and to protect them for history. And now they're not only drum kits; they're like historical artifacts. So I just feel like I did my part to protect that for generations.
For that 7-year-old boy watching history being made in 1964, his dream did come true. Gary not only met his idol, but forged a special bond that would continue for years to come.
He is funny. He's extremely quick-witted. He knows his place in history. He knows how to make people comfortable. And personally, I'm blessed just to be in his presence and to be able to do things. I keep telling him it's like paying him back. And even though I don't think he knows the real reason why, but I do, and that's all that matters.
Gary, along with a little help from his friend Ringo, has collaborated on a brand new book entitled Beats and Threads, Fashion of a Beatle. The book features interesting stories as told by the drummer himself.
And I purposely wanted a small kit so that I would look like part of the band.
The other part of the book is all about the iconic fashions Ringo wore during his time with the Beatles.
Somebody came in with a wad of colors, and I went for this one.
With a portion of the proceeds to go to Ringo's charity, the Lotus Foundation.
It's a pleasure to do it with you because you actually know a lot about it.
Yeah, and the way this came together, to be able to do this with you for charity, to me, once again, it just lifts my spirits and makes me feel that I'm giving more back to you for all the...
And the world.
And the world.
Yeah,
You're right. Somebody would have told me then that 60 years later, you're going to be offering a book, with Ringo Starr. I'd just say, how would that ever happen? To be a 7-year-old seeing the Beatles, they changed my life. That just like with you and 73 million other people.
I want to tell you about a great time, thanks to me, a great audience. Remember, peace and love is the only way. I love you all. Thank you. Good night.
And I'm a blessed and happy guy from Buffalo, New York.
Thanks, Ron, for that great report. If you would like to find out more about the magical musical mystery tour of Gary Astridge, go to this website, ringobeatlekits.com.